Sorry, well, you guys won't see a difference, but I've already made like a video, and then I realized I had to do some changing of things. So we work now on the Sibyl or Artori. I will keep that name. I kind of like it. I think it works. The Artori, also known as the Sable, which are what my world calls them in common. Tamil general info. The Towery, or also, actually, you know what? We're gonna change this. I'm not a fan of that. Let's change it to the proper language here. What would this race be called? Not Minotaurs. It is called Centar. There we go. Let's see if they have a word for Centaur. Centar. Okay, well, that's the name we're going for. Centar. Alright, and we're gonna go ahead and do that, and actually, we're gonna get rid of the name of Sable. Well, we'll keep that just for the time being. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna now get rid of that. The Centar, also known as Sable in common, is a race of half human or half horse, with the predominant mixture being the human torso and above, and horse body instead, and are in the place of legs. Though on some rare occasions and recognized as part of the Centaur race, this combination can be reversed or with other animals such as bulls, boars, and rams. Map. The kingdom of the Centaur was never discovered prior to the. Let's go into the wars. Because I know the Toth got a hold of the Sable pretty early on. Toth Civil War. Toth for the Elio, I mean. Actually, when were race creation? When were the Sable created? Or Artori in here. Let's see. There it is. 26. Okay, Age of Song. So we know that. Go to Wars. Go to Age of Song. There it is. Yeah. So the Kingdom of the Centaur was never discovered prior to the. What is the war called? Papal's Wars. Alright. Papal's Wars. The Kingdom of the Centaur was never discovered or even recognized as an independent state by the other races of the time. Thus, no map to date has survived, though it is believed that the island of the Toth theocracy, was originally, it would have been like 6. Let's go to nation map. There's like 4 or 5 nations in here, because this is the Toth, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would have been 6, 7, something like that. was originally 7 different kingdoms. I'll put 7 or 8. Or 8 different kingdoms. But the Toth, but the Toth after the Papal Wars are said to have burned most of the history books of all those they have enslaved. Alright, do we even have the Toth in here somewhere? Maybe in here? In here? I know there they are. Toth are going to be the really very difficult one because they have a lot of cities and such. I don't even have lore written about them yet. We did some work on them, as you can kind of see, but yeah, I'm just saying there's no mention of them at all. So, and we'll be working on a lot of the war history as time goes on later. But I'm just going down. Oh, the wars fought against the halfling. Yeah. Any and all city. Actually, since we have no map, then we wouldn't have a listing here for the city info. Correct that. Technology period. It is to be noted that the Centar seem to possess a far greater intelligence than many of the races of Crimea. As seen in the ruins of the now conquered lands, many pipes containing different liquids that would power machines without the help of man or magic. However, as the years of enslavement have gone on, the Centar race have been forcibly bred into a lower level of their once proud intellect. Okay. All stable scientists, it's rare to see them doing any other jobs. Okay. We have, we'll put, like, note, though this hierarchy appears official, it is noted that much of this is based on stories passed down from previous generations, as the Centar race is no longer capable of writing or keeping records of their history. Okay, perfect. So we are definitely going to base them on some interesting concepts. So we're going to go director. Alright. We're going to do the Iyak Kunar. And we'll call this director. Boop. We'll have Venani, which is going to be the scientist role. Vignani, I believe that's how you pronounce that. Let me see.
Vignani.
Vignani, okay. Or scientist. And we'll go with assistant. Oh god.
Udaviyalar.
Utaviyalar, okay. Utavi Alar. I'm going to split it up, though it's not proper. Assistant. And then we're going to do the last one, which will be student. Okay. And that is pronounced?
Manavar.
Manavar. Okay. Manavar. Okay. Perfect. Back to what we're doing here. Okay. The Iyak Kunar are known to have led the Centar nation with a collective of 6 chosen from the brightest of the Vanani. Yeah. These directors, as they are known in common, would lead the nation and decide not only budgeting for projects, but societal projects as a whole, and where the major focus would be granted. As a minor note, this is also noted by many Centar about how they would see factions become common amongst the Iyak Kunar, and thus much political strife would be created as the groups refuse to work together, eventually ending with the Centar being kingdom being defeated. Okay. For the Vanani, the common term used for those Centar who have been recognized for their grand intellect, as they went through to prove to the Iyak Kunar that they were above the rest of their race. Thus, the Vanani were recognized almost as nobles, and in common would be known as the scientists, who, wow, I can't spell for shit today. Scientists who would help drive science forward within the nation as directed by the Iyak Kunar. To note, all Vanani at the end of their civilization were required to join one of the 6 factions of the Iyak Kunar, and would help in either espionage or subterfuge of the other factions at the order of their. Those who proved themselves the most useful were noted to get the majority funding when their faction won financial debates. Yeah. Okay. Alright, next. Utavier alar, the common term used for assistant in as translated in common. Is this spelled? This is spelled correctly, but this one isn't. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'll. You know what? We're looking it up. Let me look. Oh, its assistant is spelled with an A. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so is the common use. However, another common or another term that would be applicable here would be commoner, as all Centar would be extremely educated throughout their youth and young adult life. Thus, once they graduated from a 17-year-long program, they would be assigned the term Utavi Alar. At this point, they would be sent to serve under a Venani who followed a similar specialization to the Utavi Alar. Alright, nope. Generally speaking, this was done to keep the assistant learning as they gained experience in their specialized field. Okay. Alright. Manavar. The Manavar, or student, as it is in common, was the traditional title given to those who had yet to graduate from their 17-year-long program and thus had yet to prove their intellect beyond what a newborn could do. Thus, all Manavar were traditionally young and still learning as they practiced at the mini. Let's see, what's university? In this university. Whew, that's gonna be a little harder.
பல்கலைக்கழகம்.
As they okay. Palkalaika. We're gonna and then do okay. It's harder to get the. It's no offense to the language. It's just harder to get that in pronunciation for D&D. It sounds like a spell almost. Practice at the mini. There we go. Okay. So now we need those dejected. We need a title for that. Okay, actually I like this one. The Tolvi.
தோல்வி.
Tolvi. Okay, got it. Tolvi. Failures. A general term used to represent those who could never prove their intellect. And while rarely was this title given out? It is noted that some Tolvi would distinguish themselves during the Papal Wars, Papal Wars, in which they were more commonly comfortable with combat over text or books. Thus, this title, while it was generally a dishonor to receive it, it seems that the Centar Society still recognized the talents of those they deemed talentless. Okay. So let's get these boys all set up as heading 5 as we go, so it's easier work for later. Perfect. Plus, no one wants to have to come back through this and do this later. Alright. That is heading 5. Alright, so we'll continue on the next episode. I'm going to try and get this done today, but I also don't want to make too long of episodes, as this can be really dry material, and going forward we need to make sure we're not overly boring. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow, or next week, for the next episode of the Centar race.